Hey, it's Paul Hill, and in this lesson, we're going to be configuring our Windows Server Update Services server. Now, I'm logged into my ITF WSUS01 server, and what I'm going to do is in Server Manager, I'm going to select Tools, and all the way at the bottom, the very last option I have here is Windows Server Update Services. So I'm going to select this option, and it's going to launch the WSUS Server Configuration Wizard. Now, I know some of you guys are just going to click the cancel button, and then you're not going to know what to do because you closed the wizard and you haven't configured anything, but you have the console here. So now if you try to open Windows Server Update Services, it doesn't launch the wizard. So the way you get around that is just expand your server name here, select Options, and then we're going to find the wizard down here. So let me see if I can find that. There it is, WSUS Server Configuration Wizard. So we'll click there. And now we're back to where we were. All right, so here we can see a couple before you begin. Is the server firewall configured to allow clients to access the server? Can this computer connect to the upstream server, such as Microsoft? And then do you have credentials for the proxy server? We don't have a proxy server. And yes, the computer connect to Microsoft. And yes, the computer can connect to Microsoft because it has internet access. And we're going to take care of the firewall to allow clients to access the server. So what I'm going to do is click Next. And I'm going to say, I'm just not going to join the Microsoft Update Improvement Program. It's not necessary for my lab environment. So I'm going to click Next again. And here is where you can synchronize from Microsoft Update or from another Windows Server Update Services upstream server. So if you have another server on your network, you can type in that name here. You can type in the port name, and you can choose to use SSL or specify whether it's a replica of the upstream server. And that's not the case here at all. This is our only WSUS server in the network, so we need to synchronize from Microsoft. And so what we're going to do is click Next. And I don't have a proxy server. If you had a proxy server, you can enter that information here now. Not going to do that, so we'll click Next again. And it's going to say Start Connecting. It wants us to verify our connection to Microsoft. So we're just going to click Start Connecting, and then we're just going to give it a minute. Now it's going to figure out what kind of the type of updates, the products that can be updated in available languages. So we're just going to let that run for a minute. All right, so it looks like it's finally done. It took me about 20 minutes for this to finish connecting. So what I'm going to do now is just click Next. And now we need to choose what kind of updates that we want. And the default option is to download updates in all languages, including new languages. I do not recommend that you do this because it's just going to take up a lot of space on your computers. So what I'm going to do is select the download updates only in these languages. You'll see a message stating that only the languages you select will be available to downstream servers, which are servers that are receiving updates from this WSUS server, which is going to be fine because we're not even going to set up a downstream server, or I don't plan on doing it right now. So what we're going to do is just check English, and we're going to click Next. So on this screen, we needed to choose what products we have in our network and which products we want to get updates for. Now I'm going to choose things like I'm going to do Active Directory, check that checkbox. And you can do things like Bing, any products that you have in your network that you know that you'll need to update. I'm going to check these developer tools, runtimes, and read distributables. And I don't have Exchange, so I'm not going to select that. If you're in your lab environment, you can get away with pretty minimal updates. Keep in mind that it's going to take resources and space to download these updates and to store them on your WSUS server. So it's better to go with less. But at the same time, if you're in a production environment, you want to choose the updates, for everything that you have environment, so you aren't vulnerable or you don't have unpatched applications. So I'm just going to keep scrolling down here. I don't use Link. Not using the Microsoft Monitoring Agent. I guess we can include the Security Essentials. And let's see, keep on going down. And see, I don't use Office. We'll definitely want to include Silverlight. And I guess we can check SQL Server, as sometimes I run SCCM or I run SQL Server, so I might need that. So I'm just going to go ahead and check that. I'm definitely not going to use SQL Server 2000 or 2005 or 2008. I'm just going to use the latest version, which is 2016. So uncheck all of these. And we'll use the Management Studio version 17. Now I'll keep going down. Now I could check these System Center updates. I'll go ahead and do that now. Let's see, we can do System Center Virtual Machine Manager, even though I'm not going to check this because I'm running my virtual machines through VirtualBox. And I'm definitely not using System Center 2012. I don't plan on using it. I can always change this at a later date, but at this time, I do not plan on including 2012 in my environment. All right, so just keep going down here. And now I'm going to leave these Windows updates checked. I'm not going to do Windows 7 or Windows 2000 or Windows 8. So I'll uncheck all of these. Keep Windows Defender, dictionary updates, that's fine. Not using Internet Explorer 7. Gonna uncheck that and RT. And definitely not keeping anything for Windows Server 2003 or anything older than 2016. Okay, so I think that's everything. Uncheck these XP and Vista. We definitely don't want anything to do with Windows Vista. So I think that's just about everything. I'm going to click Next now. And now here we need to choose the classifications. And these are things like, for example, critical updates, drivers, feature packs. I'm going to click on feature packs. I'm going to select tools. And let's see here. And we'll select service packs. And now I'm going to click Next. And we can have this to synchronize automatically or synchronize manually. I'm going to choose synchronize automatically. And let me explain what synchronize means. That means our WSUS server is reaching out to Microsoft.com and it's updating its internal database with all the updates that are available. It's not actually downloading updates per se, but it's just going out and it's finding, oh, these new updates are available, and I'm going to mark these as updates that are available that can be approved by the administrator. No updates will be downloaded unless you approve the updates, which we haven't got to that yet. So we're going to synchronize automatically once every 7 days. Now, so Patch Tuesday, which is generally the second Tuesday of every month, sometimes it's the fourth. It only comes around once a month. So there's absolutely no reason to synchronize more than once every 7 days. And I'm going to change this synchronization. Let's see. First synchronization, 743. That's going to be fine. I'll actually kick that off as a manual synchronization. I'm actually going to switch this to, let's see here if I can get this to go to 12 a.m. And my numlock is not wanting to work. There we go. So it's going to synchronize at 12 a.m. just to keep our network speeds running. The reason why you want to choose every 7 days is that Microsoft might release their updates a little bit late. So you don't want to completely miss out or come in a month behind on your updates. So I just recommend every 7 days. Of course, you can do once a day if you would like. That's totally fine as well. I'm going to click Next. And I'm going to say Begin Initial Synchronization. So our server is going to synchronize the update list as soon as we click Finish. So what we're going to do now is it's going to say to fully configure system, you should explore the following topics: how to use SSL, create computer groups. You can read over those if you'd like, but we're going to cover a couple of these in the video. So I'm going to click Finish. And now we are done with that. So what we're going to do now is go to Synchronizations, and we're going to expand this. Just wait for the synchronization to finish, and then we'll be ready to move on. Now I can see there's a progress bar down here at the bottom. It says 11%. I expect this will take another 15 or so minutes. So if you need to, just go ahead and pause the video, or you can just keep watching, and I'm going to speed up this video, and then we'll come back once it's done. Okay, so the synchronization is now complete. It took me about 45 minutes to an hour for that to complete, so it was not fast at all. But we can see that it grabbed 1,800 new updates, and then it ran the scheduled synchronization, and it grabbed another new update. So it took 2 synchronizations to actually get all the updates. And keep in mind that this is 1,817 updates, or 1,818 updates have been added to the database. We didn't actually download anything. And the way we can check that is if we open File Explorer, go to this PC, C drive, and right click on our WSUS updates folder. And if we choose properties, we can see here that the size of this folder is only 11.3 megabytes. And obviously if we open it up, we can see that it created some files, but it has not actually downloaded any updates. So that is how you set up and configure Windows Server Update services. Great job finishing this lecture, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.